Manufacturing set to establish assembly plant. Hello and welcome to the news at 11 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Norlin Ebel Ame, and here is the news. Vice President Kashim Shettima is optimistic that with more funding in building resilience among communities prone to flooding and other forms of disasters, the risk incurred in the event of disasters would have been tremendously reduced. Senator Shettima stated this at the 2025 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction with the theme, Fund Resilience, Not Disaster. Ilyasu Kubu completes the report.
Funding resilience in the management of disasters is one major component of the disaster risk reduction strategy, which requires community participation for immediate response. Since 1999, the United Nations General Assembly introduced the disaster risk reduction mechanisms as a paradigm shift from reactive to proactive approach in the management of disasters across the globe. In 2010, Nigeria adopted the strategy for proactive engagement in the management and mitigation of disasters. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the readiness for disaster is the true measure of every nation's maturity. Beyond demonstrating the utmost respect for the sanctity of human life, it reveals the commitment to building a system that rests on order, foresight, and stability. He said the strength of a people is not proven in the chaos that follows calamity, but in the wisdom of preparation that prevents it.
Every naira we spend today on preparedness saves many more tomorrow on response and recovery. Every investment in resilience is in truth an investment in the lives and futures of our people. We do not have to look far to understand this message. In recent years, we have seen floods wash away farmlands, erosion swallow roads, and fires raise markets that took years to build. These tragedies happen not in distant lands, but in our own communities, to people we know, to families just like ours.
Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State highlighted efforts put in place to reduce the hazards of disasters through constitution of the local emergency management committees at various levels of government to promote disaster risk reduction strategy.
I urge all stakeholders to deepen collaboration and ensure that no stakeholder is left behind in our collective effort to build a safer and a more resilient Nigeria.
This stakeholders meeting is very important for us to have a comprehensive and holistic approach in addressing and preparing this country for a better resiliency.
Director General National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA Zubaida Umar, explained that the dialogue is critical to collectively rethink how the resilience can be fully funded to move from reactive, ad hoc funding of disasters to a multi-stakeholders financing architecture that support prevention, preparedness, and sustainable recovery.
These events are testing the limits of traditional emergency response systems and demanding a more proactive, preventive, and well-financed disaster risk management framework.
Other speakers re-echoed the funding of resilience for effective management of disasters across the country. Experts believe the disaster risk reduction strategy is yielding positive results, evident in the relatively minimal impact of disasters in the year 2025, despite the usual outcry that follows such disasters. In Abuja, Ilyasu Kubu, NTA News.
And in Washington, D.C., the annual meetings of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund brings together finance ministers, central bank governors, and the global economic leaders to discuss pressing international economic issues. Mukblang Dakok in Washington, D.C., reports that the 2025 meetings have opened this Monday. Hello, Mukblang. It's over to you.
Yes, the annual meetings of the World Bank and the IMF have just started here in Washington, but activities are a bit low because of the public holiday here as a result of the Columbus Day celebration. However, Nigeria's delegation is fully on ground already, led by the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso. The Minister of Finance is not here, as we are told he's indisposed. But the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Anite, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance is here, as well as other government officials and even the members of the private sector. Highlights of the meeting include a session on the Developmental Committee plenary on October 16th and the International Monetary and Financial Committee meeting on the 17th. For Nigeria, the meeting presents an opportunity to brainstorm together with developmental partners, investors, and other policy makers on macroeconomic stability and inclusive growth for the country. On the whole, the meetings or the outcomes of the meetings are expected to shape macroeconomic policies and financial policies for the next 1 year. In Washington, D.C., Mukblang Dakok, NTA News.
Thank you, Mukblang. As the world grapples with financial instability, rising debt vulnerabilities and tightening development finance, with the climate crisis demanding unprecedented resources, Commonwealth finance ministers are pushing for stronger cooperation and innovative solutions. The meeting held on the sidelines of the World Bank and IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C., brought together finance ministers from across Commonwealth nations. Nigeria's Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, joined her counterparts to advocate increased funding for the Commonwealth Development Agenda aimed at lifting millions out of poverty. The ministers also discussed strategies to boost trade among member countries. According to the Commonwealth Secretariat, Commonwealth trade is on average of 21% cheaper and is projected to reach $2 trillion by 2030. The 2025 general election may be a new experience to Nigerians going by amendments being canvassed in the Electoral Act. National Assembly correspondent Lamiale reports that some highlights of the amendments propose conduct of presidential and governorship election by November 2026 and conclusion of all election litigation before swearing in.
The Electoral Act amendment exercise is being conducted for the 8th time since the return of democracy in 1999. Essentially to address identified shortcomings after each election cycle. Voices at the public hearing call for reforms for enhanced transparency, accountability, and inclusiveness.
Experience has taught us that perfection is a pursuit, not a possession. The law we make today must correct the weakness of yesterday and prepare the ground for the victories of tomorrow.
Our democracy rests on the credibility of our elections, and unless these contests are freer, fairer, cheaper, and less contentious, we endanger the Fourth Republic.
As Nigeria prepares for its next electoral cycle, the decisions made in this room and by this institution will have far-reaching implications.
The proposed Electoral Act 2025 seeks amendments in 20 sections, some of which will enable prisoners' voting rights, real-time transmission of results, and increase of campaign funds.
Replacement of members of legislative houses without by-election, which was also a proposal from INEC trying to look at way of costing costs.
The objective
is not to serve the interests of any political party or group, but to safeguard the integrity of our elections and build public confidence in the democratic process.
Presentations at the hearing also pointed to areas it hopes the National Assembly would address.
Political office holders, elected representatives, appointed representatives, the aides of ministers, governors, even of presidents, cannot enjoy an unnecessary level of suffrage over the selection of the candidates of party.
With regard to the appointment of the chairman of INEC, we feel that the process should be changed. The president should not directly appoint. The National Judicial Council should appoint.
We also want persons with disabilities who are voters to vote early before the official date of election.
While the exercise progresses to a third reading at the two chambers, some of the proposed amendments to the Electoral Act, like notice and time of elections, are however tied to amendments of the Constitution, which is also ongoing. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still staying with the National Assembly, the House of Representatives says new legislations are underway to accelerate the growth of Nigeria's downstream petroleum industry. This was at the opening of the maiden annual Downstream Petroleum Week, organized by the House in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpeng reports.
The conference brought together industry players to share perspectives on sectoral challenges and develop practical solutions. Everyone applauds the significant progress Nigeria has made in the quest to refine its crude oil and consume what is refined, hence the advocacy for enabling laws to ramp up domestic refining capacity.
Nigerians therefore expect certain deliverables from this conference, especially as they concern the prevalent infrastructure deficit, solutions to energy security issues, pipeline vandalism, and dubious pricing. To address this, the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream intends to pursue new legislative measures to grant local refineries first right of refusal on crude allocation, streamline regulations to remove all unnecessary delay, assist the House to develop a refinery protection and promotion bill to classify refineries, whether modular or big refineries, as strategic national assets, ensuring they receive priority protection and support.
A separate public hearing by the House Committee on Agricultural Production and Services focused on 3 bills: to amend the National Agricultural Development Fund Establishment Act, another to establish the National Farm Settlements Agency, and a third bill to establish a National Rice Production, Processing and Research Institute in Argungu, Kebbi State.
It's not a bad idea, but I think we need to also look at existing framework and ensure that we are not duplicating.
Requesting the formal inclusion of the Nigeria Youth in Agri-Tech and Innovation Program.
We have suggested broadening the financing powers of the fund to allow for equity investments.
We will continue to collaborate with the executive relevant agencies and the private sector to make agriculture a business that drives national prosperity.
Memoranda submitted sought increased funding of existing agricultural institutions to boost productivity and food security. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
You are still watching the news at 11 on NTA News 24. Let's pause here for a break. Stay with us.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to...
The only tomato paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness, great quality and great taste. So eat healthy to live longer. Use Arisco tomato paste and products.
100% natural tomato. Namunde. Better food na correct.
Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount.
Arisco tomato paste, the taste of Nigeria.
Feel the power of precision.
precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African road.
Thank you for being there. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has secured the commitment of the Qatar Foundation on Education, Science and Community Development towards reforming the Almajiri education system and addressing the out-of-school children crisis in the country. She pulled this off in Doha, Qatar, during a closed-door meeting with the chairman of the foundation, Her Highness Sheikh Moza bint Nasser Al-Misnet. She says support and funding from the foundation is necessary to assist Nigeria address the challenge of over 15 million out-of-school children and driving a transformative model of Almajiri school system, one that integrates both Islamic and formal education. The First Lady applauded her host, Her Royal Highness Sheikh Moza, for her various interventions in the education sector through the foundation that she built, the Qatar Education City, with over 40 schools, including universities and the Qatar National Library. Pledging the commitment of the foundation to actively support the Almajiri and out-of-school children education in Nigeria, the chairman of the foundation says it will assist the Ministry of Education with training of the handlers and teachers in the schools when established to ensure the best outcomes. The First Lady also visited the headquarters of the Qatar Foundation, where the CEO of the foundation, Yusuf Al-Na'ar, informed her that Nigeria has 41 alumni from the Muhammad Khalifa University. She attended the meeting alongside the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, Minister of State for Education, Professor Sueiba Ahmed, and the Executive Secretary of the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children Education, Muhammad Sani. Now, following the strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the federal government is enforcing the no work, no pay policy in line with extant provisions of labor laws. A statement by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, directs Vice Chancellors of federal universities to ensure strict compliance with the policy as regards every employee who fails to discharge their duties within the period. The statement adds that roll calls should be conducted with monitoring by the National Universities Commission, NUC, and submission of reports on staff that participated or otherwise, and also ensure salaries are withheld from participants, exempting only members of the Congress of University Academics, CONUA, and a National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA. The minister again calls on the union to embrace dialogue in resolving the issues, stating that the federal government is committed to education. Beyond raising the nation's GDP, figures of creative economy's contribution to $100 billion by 2030, culture remains a powerful tool for peace building, unity, and national identity. One institution aligning with this vision is the National Youth Service Corps NYSC, which recently organized a cultural carnival across its 37 secretariats nationwide, showcasing Nigeria's rich diversity through music, dance, fashion, and art. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Nigeria, the giant of Africa, is home to one of the continent's richest cultural heritages, shaped by over 250 ethnic groups and more than 500 distinct languages. This incredible diversity has produced a unique national identity, blending deep-rooted traditions with modern influences. The NYSC Cultural Carnival is a true reflection of this heritage.
I encourage you to build a Nigeria where every voice is heard, every culture is cherished, and every heart beats as one.
If these cultures are properly harnessed, it can be a major source of income in this nation of ours.
While championing the preservation of the nation's rich heritage, the Carnival also provides a dynamic space for dialogue and reflection on Nigeria's evolving social narrative.
Expectation actually coming here was that there's no security, the insecurity is much. But getting here, I saw that these people are loving, they are accommodating.
With culture, we don't basically need oil to, generate wealth.
Be open-minded. Some of the stories are not always true. My perception of the Northerners has changed because I see it as a very prestigious tribe.
By promoting and protecting traditional art forms, languages, customs, and historical expressions, the NYSC Cultural Carnival helps to ensure that Nigeria's rich and diverse heritage continues to thrive for generations to come. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion says it has achieved about 70% compliance among multinational firms operating in Nigeria in registering their technology transfer agreements. Director General Obiageli Amadiobi said the agency's audits revealed that while most companies now comply, some still conceal back-end technologies used in production and data operations. She added that collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria has strengthened enforcement, curbing fund remittances for uncertified technology services.
And inventions. And that is the main reason why we are bringing this summit into play, because we want to harness the foreign and the local contents into one and let the local content know what is in the country and let the foreigners also know what we have, such that at the end we promote the technology in this country. We will not forever be dumping ground for foreign technologies.
Bayelsa State's governor says his administration is determined to transform the state from a civil service economy into a productive industrial hub through partnerships that promote local manufacturing and entrepreneurship. The governor stated this while receiving a delegation from Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company in Government House, Yenagua. Temine Priye Ohia reports.
For years now, Bayelsa State has been known more as a civil service economy. But today, a new chapter is unfolding, the economy to be driven by innovation, industry and cleaner energy. That is so as the state government is partnering Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company to launch compressed natural gas CNG-powered buses and establish a local vehicle assembly plant right here in Yenogwa. The partnership is targeted at modernizing the state's transport system to reduce dependency on imported fuels, a move expected to make Bayelsa State a manufacturing hub for South-South region.
Many states doesn't have opportunity to use CNG. When you are using CNG, it will save you cost, both in any type of vehicle you are using, even your generators. But if there's no way to suck CNG easily in your state, you cannot benefit it. I'm going to establish CNG station. And everything I'm saying today, I will start immediately.
Governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, says his administration is committed to build a state driven by entrepreneurship and production, not just civil service. Beyond vehicles, the initiative is about the people, provision of jobs, skills, and giving the younger ones a brighter future in automotive engineering, design, and maintenance.
It is a welcome development for you to talk about CNG cars, CNG buses, to be sited here in Bayelsa State. We are ready to partner with you. We are ready to work with you on that.
To make this possible, the government is strengthening infrastructure, expanding electricity supply, and ensuring peace and security to create the right environment for industries to thrive. Timinepri Ohia, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebelani. Bye for now.